And I appreciate the investment in yourselves today to be here to join this wonderful training get-together. An easy way to remember my name is picture me going like this all the time and say, man, this guy's a Nader. And that's really how it's pronounced, Nader. How many of you know what event took place back in February 10th, 1977? Anybody? No? What's that?
I was about 9 months old.
You were 9 months old. Very good. Well, that was the day. Very good. Were you born on the 10th?
No.
Is that what triggered it? Okay. Well, you were nine months old, and I was 17 years old, and that's when I came to this blessed country. I had $48 in my pocket, big time shot, and I was very, very excited. I came to the land of opportunity. Which reminds me, any of you travel internationally? When you're traveling internationally, there comes a point just before you arrive, the stewardesses will come and they'll give you a form to fill out, you know, for customs and all that. And I'm sitting there and I'm, you know, proud of myself. I know a few words of English. I know all the letters of English, and you know, big time shot, right? So I'm sitting over there and it says, first name, okay, Nader. Last name, Ashchi, and then it says sex. I look around. Yes, please. And I heard America's a great country. You know? And then it says male or female. I said, oh my God, what a country. You get choices too. Now, the thing I'd like to start with is a cute little story that'll kind of set the set the ground for us. There was this young man that was driving down the road, and he sees a little sign, and the sign says speaking dog for sale. So curiosity gets him. What's a speaking dog? So he zips into the driveway, gets out, knocks on the door, says, sir, I understand you have a speaking dog for sale. I said, yeah. He says, well, can you tell me about him? Don't ask me, just go ask him, he'll tell you. Ask the dog? Yeah. Okay. So he goes in and says, dog? Yeah. He says, well, tell me a little bit about your background. Dog says, well, back in my younger days, you know, my owners lived in the mountains in Aspen, Colorado, and in the wintertime I would run out, and a lot of people would get in these snow and they get lost, and I'd go out there and find them and save their life and keep them warm and drag them out into safety. And man, I just did that, you know, for several years, and here recently, you know, we moved down further south, and we're by the beach, and so what I do is occasionally I see somebody drowning, I run in and I would grab them, pull them out of the water, and man, my life is about saving people. You know, I just love people. The guy just totally puzzled. He looks at the owner. He says, "Sir, are you nuts? You want to sell this dog?" He says, "Yeah, that dog is lying. He never did any of these things." Now, what's the moral here? You know, a lot of times we're so focused on stories that we miss really the object of what it's all about. We're so focused on our surrounding, on our facts, that we overlook incredible opportunities and potentials. So, the information I'm about to share with you today is really not that important. What is important is what it's going to do for you. What is important is the change that is going to take place within you. What is important is how you're going to perceive and accept this information. What happened in 1987? Anybody has any idea? I'm sure everybody has a different story. But what happened in 87 for me is, after having completed my education, I've gotten an engineering degree, 2 of them to be exact, and I had already been an entrepreneur. I'd already built and established a restaurant, made some decent money, and circumstances happen in life, and I just literally went bankrupt and broke. Not poor, but bankrupt and broke. And I spent an entire year, close to an entire year, in the backseat of an old beat-up Ford that I bought that's already been wrecked. And I spent almost an entire year in the backseat of that Ford, and that was my home. That was also my transportation. Now that didn't change. And at that time, believe it or not, nobody was aware of the fact. Nobody knew that I was living in a vehicle. Okay, because my personality, my mindset was not that of a homeless person. It was that of a successful person who had some adversities. Okay, and so even though I was physically, my surrounding, I was the olive seed, right? But in reality, I was an olive tree in my own mind, because I knew what my potential was, and that's where my thoughts were. So, but within 4 years of that, I was managing several hotels. So I got back on my feet, got back in business. I was the president of Rotary Club, so I got involved with community and serving and giving back. I was also first vice president of the Chamber of Commerce. This is just on that 4th year. Right? And I was also serving on a city commission, on a city council. And also, I had gotten my private license as a pilot by that point. So it's a huge leap within that 4-year period. Why? Because my mind took me where I wanted to be. Didn't dwell on where I was. That wasn't important to me. And within 6 years, I went from living in the back seat of that old beat-up Ford to being chauffeured in my very own Rolls Royce. I had one of those big, fancy, huge Fender, Rolls Royces, and had the trays in the back, like the airplanes, with the rosewood and all that. It just had the privacy window, and it was a factory-milled Rolls Royce limousine. So it was pretty incredible. Now, believe it or not, I've had failure since then too. I went bankrupt again, and I came back up. So, in my book, Always Rich, I discuss a lot of that and how I set the stage for my own failures, and why I was able to get out of the failure stage. See, failure is not falling down. To be a failure is falling down and not getting up.